Hi there, my name's Alan. I'm going to start with the fact that I'm going to be building a blacksmith shop. It's not going to be very big. I decided to go with a geodesic dome structure, mostly because of ease of construction and availability of materials. I don't have a whole lot of money to do this, and I decided that before I got started building the actual shop, I would build a series of models to test the idea, the design, the size. So I built a scale model. The first model I built using just regular bamboo skewers you can find at your supermarket and some hot glue. I built this wonderful thing. It's a pretty good size. It turns out to be, well, twice as much in materials as an equivalent size or number of side. I don't know. This is half the scale of this, just because I already had the pieces cut. Like I said, just hot glue and bamboo skewers. This is the design I ended up going with. I ditched this just because it would cost more in materials, more sides, you know. And in the future, if I ever decided to expand this design, I came up with a way to just add another one with some struts. And you see here, the whole thing just sort of matches right up. And the two individual domes can then be covered in material of your choice. I chose to go with a rather inexpensive 4mm, that's 4 thousandths of an inch, plastic material, and to represent that in the scale model, I used a piece of like grocery bag. I decided on an octagon. I know it's pentagonal, but I started with an octagon because of well, the use of material I thought could be better utilized with an octagon. Now I know you can probably see the seams here. What I did was I took the same scale that I built a model at, which was a 1/2 inch to a foot. I don't know what scale that is, a 1/2 inch to a foot, I guess. And since the material that I'm going to be using comes in rolls 20 feet wide, 25 feet long, I decided to cut my material in that dimension and then tape it together, since, again, I'll be using the Duck brand all-weather tape. Everything I'm using can be found between Lowe's, Home Depot, or Walmart. No joke. So, you could probably get everything at Home Depot if you wanted to. I'm just having to make multiple trips. But you'll see the seams here are where I utilized most material for the size I needed. And well, the next step is to cover the scale model to hopefully mirror what I'll have to do for the full size model. Now I'm not going to worry about attaching at every point along the thing. I'm just going to drape this over the top, pull it under the edges, and then fasten it on the inside, probably using more tape. The whole thing will be staked down like a tent. It'll end up being 14 feet across on the inside. So, you know, a 14-foot pentagon that's, you know, about 10 feet tall at the apex. I figure that's plenty of room for one, maybe two people to work in a small shop. And I guess the next step is I'll be covering this, and I'll film that and show you that too. Alright, just a couple more things I wanted to talk about. What I didn't actually mention was that each of the members in the dome structure ends up being 7.5 feet long. When I cut them, I'm going to add an extra 6 inches to each of my tubes that I'm making for flattening and punching the hole. You'll see all that in successive videos. I actually got the length of my struts here from desertdomes.com, I think. I'll put a link in the sidebar. But desertdomes.com, and they have a geodesic dome calculator. You put in which kind of what size, what shape dome you want to build. This is a 3/4 stellated icosahedron. You put in what shape you want to make, and then put in the total the diameter or the radius. I don't remember which it asks for, but you put in that measurement, the total area, you know, the diameter of the area you want to your dome to cover, and then it tells you what the length of the struts need to be. And for a lot of the larger ones, not for this one because it's super simple. They're all the same length, and ends up being a series of equilateral triangles that just fit together. And there's not really assembly diagrams necessary. It's really simple. Some people have noted that this particular structure seems, maybe you can see it if I turn it just right, seems leaning to one side or the other, but if you look, when it turns around, they sort of even out, and it leans on that side, it leans on that side, it leans on that side. It's because of the way the interlocking pentagons, the way they overlap with a half turn, so that you end up with two overlapping pentagons with triangles holding each one up from both sides. So, you know, it works out. But yeah, desertdomes.com was that website. There are several. What I did, I googled geodesic dome, and man, there were hundreds of thousands of results. In some of the websites, some of the material that I read, I came across, you know, mention of a dome calculator, and then I typed that into Google, and that's how I found desert domes. But you know, there are several videos here on YouTube that talk about the construction of geodesic domes and whatnot. There's even a guy that built one of these out of it looked like 2x4s. I've seen them built out of bamboo poles. Literally just about anything. I'm using EMT conduit that you can find in any home improvement store. Most of the ones I've seen built used thicker conduit than I'm using. Again, it's about money for me at this point. I know that in the future, should I acquire better materials, I could rebuild it or improve it or add on to it using those materials, and I'm not really super concerned about it. I know that the structural integrity of the poles I'm using will be fine for what I'm doing. I'm using 1/2 inch, very small 1/2 inch EMT conduit. Now I've tested the materials to make sure I had what I needed. You'll need bolts, nuts, washers, obviously, to hold the whole thing together, a hammer or a vise or some kind of hydraulic press to mash the ends of the conduit flat. I think that's about it. Like I said, the whole dome will end up being, in the end, 14 feet across. That's a pretty good size floor plan. 10 to 12 feet tall. And roughly each strut 7.5 feet. Now, yeah, leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. If you have a better way to do this, even just putting the cover on, because I can't find any information about that, attaching a cover. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll try to post a video a week about the project. So, thanks for your time. Have a good day.